Texas. This is the Baylor Football Postgame Fan Forum. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
Dereck, are you there?
A local agent today.
Dereck Smith, are you there?
Official hospital and healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. HEB, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics. Proudly serving Texas.
Are you there, Dereck? Hello?
I am here, Aaron.
Oh, God, y'all got to do quicker, man. We're in the open.
Sorry. Okay.
Local bank of Baylor Athletics.
20 seconds.
Right.
Premier ER and urgent care. Feel better now. Nissan. Innovation that excites. Get ready for all the post-game action. Starting right now.
A victory on opening night for the Baylor Bears. The goal today was to be 1-0 when it was all said and done, and mission accomplished on that front as the Bears dominate early and win this one going away by a score of 45-3. The Bears show some interesting signs of change, what with the new offense, what with Daquan Finn at quarterback. Certainly room for improvement next week when they take on a top 15 team in Utah. But so far, so good. Mission accomplished today for the Bears. We want to welcome you into the Postgame Fan Forum, the first edition of the 2024 season, along with Baylor legend, former All-American Bryce Hager. I am Dereck Smith here in the radio booth at McLean Stadium. Aaron Sexton is our producer at our flagship stations, ESPN Central Texans. And Bryce, it's great to welcome you to the Fan Forum here, and great to start you off with a win. What was your general thought on the game tonight? What's your big takeaway?
I mean, coming into this season, the goal is let's go 1-0. And they did that tonight. And the way it was complimentary football, offense played well, defense played well, special teams, not much happened, but they played well as well. So, I mean, with all the new guys coming in, new offense, Miranda calling plays, I think this was a great way to start the season, get them comfortable for the next week's game.
45-3 is the final score. Baylor outgained Tarleton 442 yards to 181, and really the majority of Tarleton's productivity in this game that only led to 3 points came at a stretch that bookended halftime. Baylor jumped out to a 21-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. They were up 28-0 at halftime, and from that standpoint, you hoped that there really wouldn't be any drama in the second half in this game, and that was very much the case today. Let's give you a few numbers to start this one out. Of course, all eyes on Daquan Finn, the big offseason acquisition from Toledo, the MAC most valuable player. He was 14 of 22 for 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, so a little up, a little down. He finished with 6 carries for 19 yards and a touchdown, but what a touchdown that was. Baylor's first of the season, a 39-yard run. Leading receiver on the game, Ketra Jackson, 2 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. It was a game that saw a lot of newcomers get involved early. You had, obviously, Daquan Finn with the first touchdown, Ashton Hawkins. You had Keaton Thomas with the INT return for a touchdown. Later on, Michael Trigg. So you got to see a glimpse of all the work that the coaches put in bringing these players to Waco. And really, you know, it's a cliche and it's not the most exciting thing to say, Bryce, but they got work against someone other than green and gold. They got to work this system and see what things looked like against players that were a little harder to predict, that they hadn't seen before. And, of course, going up against Utah next week, they really needed something like that.
Yeah, I mean, especially how the rules have changed now with spring and training camp. You really don't know how your team's going to tackle, how your defense is going to respond to tackling. And I think that stood out to me tonight as defense did a good job tackling. They got the guys on the ground. The guys up front played well. Whenever you got guys on the defense and you can turn turnovers into touchdowns, they did that really well. And so it's just exciting. You got to build off that week by week. Really, when you go into these kind of games, you want to go against a faceless opponent. After going against each other from spring into training camp, having a faceless opponent that's not your own team that way you can work on what you need to work on, execute what you need to execute on, and I think both sides of the ball did that well tonight.
You talk about the defensive side of the ball, tackling. Baylor really didn't let them get anything going. Now, I think you look at the team as it's composed, an FCS team for the United Athletic Conference missing their starting quarterback. You would hope the team was able to do that, but they did. And, I think last year against Texas State, that offense that Texas State brought in just really kind of caught them off guard and had them a step or two behind throughout the game. Not the case tonight. They did what they were supposed to do, and I think at times you saw every layer of the defense flash, whether it was Keaton Thomas, whether it was the defensive backs making some plays, and even the defensive line. Jackie Marshall, we heard them mentioning on the First Center Credit Union postgame show, anchoring that defensive line. They all made some plays, and I think that was a good sign because there were times last year when we didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, these are games. A game like tonight is a game we needed to win. We needed to win by a good margin. I think we did that. That way, get a good lead and kind of see where guys are going to react when you have a good lead. And I think to your point where towards the end of halftime and the beginning of the third quarter, you kind of saw some fall off. That's where they got some their biggest plays, the most yards came within that window. And going into halftime, you got to see how those guys are going to react that next half. And so that's something that you can work on is if you got a lead or if you're behind, how to deal with adversity. And so for a game like this, there wasn't that much of adversity, but you did see times where they kind of lost focus, and you need to be able to hone in on that and just kind of from week to week make sure you get better at that.
Alongside Bryce Hager, I'm Dereck Smith. This is the Postgame Fan Forum. If you'd like to join in the conversation, you can tweet us using the hashtag #BUFanForum, or you can go online to Baylor Athletics YouTube account. There's a chat section there. You can send your comments in there as well. Bryce, a couple of things that stood out to me earlier. I'm curious what you noticed. One, boy, in that first touchdown by Daquan Finn, we saw his speed. He saw an opening, and there were guys who had the angle on him, but they really didn't have the angle on him. His speed, his burst of speed was impressive. And it was, they were not dipping too far into the playbook this evening, but we saw some wrinkles, where there's almost some option pitches. They were letting Daquan Finn keep the ball till late in the play before deciding what to do. We could see his ability to extend plays with his feet, and I think those are some things, again, I'll try not to harp on this too much. We didn't see all that last year as much.
Well, yeah, that's what you get when you get a spread offense. You get that up-tempo, you have a lot of options. You have quick passes. You can run the ball. Your quarterback can run the ball. So I think the way we started tonight's game was 3 really good rushes, and then Daquan decides to take the ball for the touchdown. I mean, I think that was really good way to start the game. They came out fast, and the spread offense gives you that kind of option to be able to do that. And
maybe this is a small thing, but for a team where you're really looking for more excitement, I think seeing Daquan get that first touchdown of the year on that very first drive, I don't know, it was kind of a spark. It was a small thing, right? Doesn't matter in the long run, but I thought it was fun.
Well, yeah, that was a great way to start the season. I mean, with all the hype he was getting coming into the season after being named the starting quarterback, you want to see guys produce right away. And I think he kind of proved that. His arm looked good tonight. His running ability looked good tonight. So I think should give him confidence going into next week against Utah on a road game in a hostile environment. And so I think they can take stuff of what happened tonight, and hopefully that carries on to next week.
A good start for the Bears, a 45-3 victory tonight over Tarleton. The Bears are 1-0 on the 2024 season. Again, you want to join in, tweet us using the hashtag #BUFanForum, or you can comment on the Baylor Athletics YouTube page comment section. A little bit later on, we are going to do our annual Coffee is for Closers. Now, you might notice a little change of cast on the program. We're going to talk about that, but Coffee is for Closers is still a part of things, or later on we'll preview the game against Utah. But coming up next, it's our Rewind segment. We're going to hear some of the big calls in this one from the voice of the Bears, John Morris, and JJ Joe. We'll relive some of the big plays here and talk about what worked tonight as we visit with you here on this Saturday evening. An opening win for the Bears, 45-3 over Tarleton. And we'll be back after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
First Central Credit Union is cheering for the Bears. Advantages.
All right, Derek. You just want the touchdowns?
Enjoy
let's do
ATM free.
touchdowns. How about that?
Okay.
Perfect.
And Like, is there a certain point where you start the music, or?
Let's just
To
start
make
right out of the-
deposits
right after the-
24/7 at our
after the bumper coming
ATMs
back in.
and
Okay, sounds good, bud.
Perfect. Yep,
new
thanks.
member T-shirt. Visit online at firstcentralcu.com. Everything we do for you.
Eligibility and application requirements apply. APY equals annual percentage yield. Member NCUA.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
It's Dodge Power Shot Days at Allen Samuels, where the thrill of the drive meets unbeatable savings. Conquer the road in a 2023 Dodge Durango RT with a jaw-dropping $12,500 off. Get unmatched performance with the Dodge Durango RT. Dodge is the most powerful muscle car brand, so unleash the power of the 2023 Dodge Charger RT or Dodge Challenger.
Notre Dame's 30 seconds away from beating A&M on their home field.
Choice $11,000 off during Dodge Power Shot Days at Allen Samuels Dodge.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Go Gold and sick 'em Bears.
We're breaking down today's game on the Fan Forum. To join in the conversation, tweet your thoughts with hashtag #BUFanForum or leave your comments on the YouTube or Facebook live streams. Now, back to Dereck and Elliot.
All right, we are back in the McLean Stadium radio booth, the Postgame Fan Forum. A 45-3 Baylor win tonight over Tarleton, and it is time to relive the big plays in this game. The vocal stylings of the voice of the Bears, John Morris, his calls, along with J.J. Joe and Ricky Thompson. And we'll break down what went well in the game tonight for the Bears. Dereck Smith and Bryce Hager here with you tonight in a 45-3 win for the Bears that got off to a great early start. Tarleton won the opening coin toss, deferred to the second half. That gave Baylor a chance to try to make a statement early, and that they did. It took the 2024 Bears just a minute and 23 seconds to dent the scoreboard, and it was the guy everyone had spent the offseason talking about, Dequan Finn, with the early exclamation point.
First and 10 Bears at the Tarleton 39. Fake the handoff. Quinn runs with it. Watch him go. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Welcome to Baylor, Dequan Finn. 39-yard touchdown run. And the Bears punch it into the end zone on their first drive of the new season.
Well, what a great introduction for Dequan Finn. Welcome to Baylor indeed. Bryce, it just seemed like with a couple little fakes, he handcuffed the Tarleton defense, and boy, he saw a lane, and we saw that speed that we've been hearing about.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity, he took it. I mean, after a play like that, getting the quarterback who has all the hype coming into the season and being able to score within 4 plays of the opening kickoff, and I was on the sideline during that play and seeing the reaction from his teammates. That's kind of what you want in these first couple games, is kind of see how your sideline's going to react, how your teammates are going to react when you make those kind of plays. And the sideline was going crazy for him, and they were happy for him. And it's just cool to see your teammates feed off that energy that you bring in.
Well, the coaching staff has praised his leadership in the early going. Worth noting, he wears number 7, which is a fairly traditional quarterback number, but he earned that, right? They do the single digits where they're voted on by teammates and, honored to players, given to players as an honor for displaying toughness and leadership. So a good early sign for him to earn that sign of respect. and the big opening touchdown. And as you said, Bryce, his teammates were very excited for him. And, you look at this game, Baylor got off to a great defensive start in this one. In fact, they would keep Tarleton off the scoreboard throughout the entirety of the first half, which means that every time they had the ball, they were trying to keep their foot on the gas, and they did that after they had to punt in their second offensive drive. They got the ball back, and we've been hearing the name Ashton Hawkins. Ricky Thompson says that Ashton Hawkins, the Texas State transfer, has big hands, and he is a very reliable receiver. He followed his former head coach, Jake Spavital, from Texas Tech here to Baylor. And to cap off a 5-play, 46-yard drive, DeQuan Finn found Hawkins from 32 yards out.
Hawkins in motion right to left. Snap back, looking. Firing left sideline. Oh, Ashton Hawkins adjusts to the ball, makes the catch, and blasted. Oh, he got in. He just got in. Thought he was hit out of bounds before he crossed the goal line. What a great catch, adjusting to the ball, and he finds his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Ashton Hawkins. Baylor's goes up 2 touchdowns on Tarleton State.
That made it 14-0 with the extra point. Bryce, take us through that, because we saw Ashton Hawkins, little bit of that grace you want to see a receiver have, adjusting to the ball, and then some brute strength, just want to at the end.
I mean, that's what makes good receivers great, is being able to adjust to the ball if they need a back shoulder, high point it. He did a great job coming back to it, not only catching the ball and having a defender on him, being able to stay in bounds, make a play, and gain those yards after the catch and get in the end zone. Having guys like that a quarterback can rely on makes your quarterback a lot more comfortable to make more, I wouldn't say daring throws, but more confident in making throws that his guy's going to go up to the ball. He's going to get him. If it's a single, double coverage situation, that puts confidence into your quarterback.
Well, you're a defender. Is it frustrating to coach to defend, try to defend a receiver that you just have that sense, boy, we can't even let the quarterback get in his vicinity?
Yeah, guys like that, I mean, they make your day hard. So as long as you can get him, have a game plan built around guys like that, he's going to be one of those guys teams are going to be looking at, hey, how can we create ways we can get him in double coverage? How can we make sure he's not one of their first reads? Because I think down the stretch he's going to be a problem for some teams.
They have an edge, too, at the end. Guy wanting to get into the end zone there, pinned against the sideline.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, an effort like that you love to see, and going back to getting your teammates fired up and people feeding off that energy. You definitely saw that again on that sideline when the sideline got hyped.
That's good. Well, you were down there on the sideline. We'll have to ask you even a little bit more about what you saw down there. But Baylor was up 14-0, 4:52 to play in the first quarter, and it would take less than a minute for them to pad that total, this time a defensive score.
2nd down and 7. Fake the handoff. Pass over the middle is intercepted. He may take it away. He will. A pick 6 for the Bears. Keaton Thomas, another of the newcomers for Baylor, the pick 6. He runs it in, and the Bears are up 3 touchdowns on Tarleton State in the first quarter.
Well, Bryce, you're talking about an interior linebacker. You know that part of the field well. What did Keaton Thomas see, and what did he do?
I mean, he did a great job reading the underneath the route, reading the quarterback size, not only just catching the ball, watching it in, being able to take it to the end zone. I mean, a guy like that who has prior experience being a safety, reading the quarterback's eyes, catching the ball is just second nature for him. So being able to do that, and you love when you can get turnovers, but it's even better when you get 6 points on the board from them. So that's super encouraging. I know Coach Aranda was fired up for his guys out there scoring some touchdowns.
Coach Aranda coaches the interior linebackers now in addition to his head coaching duties. And, Bryce, I was excited to see Keaton Thomas. We talked about him a little bit on the tailgate show today, and I thought it was intriguing. He said when he was looking at where he might transfer from Northeast Mississippi Junior College, he was looking at Baylor's film. And now this is not what you want to have a recruit see. He said he saw a lack of energy, just a lack of intensity out there, but he realized he could bring that. And that's what you do like. You don't want guys who just want the easy spot to go there. You want guys who feel like, hey, I can make a change there.
Well, that's a very mature decision of him, just only being a sophomore coming into a team that he knows that there needs to be a vocal leader. There needs to be someone who can bring energy on that side of the ball. And having one of your middle guys be that guy who can be vocal, who can be loud, and get the guys excited, that's the best place you want those guys to be on the field. And so he did an awesome job with his debut here in Waco and scoring. I mean, if you can get your hands on the ball and you can score a touchdown, that's gonna get everyone hyped.
Keaton Thomas today finished with 4 tackles and that interception. That made it 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Baylor would add another score in the second quarter, facing first and goal from inside the 10-yard line. It was Dawson Pendergrass on 4th and short, finishing it up.
Here we go, 4th down and goal from the 1. Pendergrass burst into the end zone. Touchdown, Baylor. Baylor, their 4th touchdown of the night. They go up 27-0 on the Texans.
Pendergrass, nothing fancy there, just punched it in. And, you know, the running back group is the most experienced returning group just in terms of you've really got the same group of guys, and they can improve. We saw a lot from Pendergrass last year. I like that they didn't feel like they had to do anything fancy down there, right? You know, you got a guy who can get north and south, and he did.
Yeah, when you get in the red zone, you get kind of in that 5 yards, and it's kind of just, in my opinion, you don't need to be fancy. Let's just get the ball in the end zone, and I think they did that really well on that drive.
That made it 28-0 at halftime. There was a stretch there, the only really kind of slow stretch for the defense, as we mentioned earlier. Over 100 of their 181 yards for Tarleton came on a 3-drive stretch, bookended around halftime. One of those resulted in a missed field goal just before intermission. One resulted in a made field goal that made it 28-3, but the Bears were not done. 8 minutes, 11 seconds left in the third quarter. They capped off a 7-play, 63-yard drive with another newcomer getting in on the act, as it was Michael Trigg taking a pass from off the back foot of Dequan Finn. Well, we may not have that one. My apologies.
Make sure
there it is.
Garrison Grimes is back in there as the deep snapper. Slow to get up after a play earlier tonight.
Well, we might find that Michael Trigg touchdown a little bit later. But Michael Trigg, a transfer from Ole Miss, a tight end, got open, and Dequan Finn was able to throw off his back foot and find him 17 yards out to make it 35-3. In the fourth quarter, Isaiah Hankins added a 39-yard field goal to make it 38-3. And then one last scoring drive after Dequan Finn was able to rest after a strong opening night for him. They brought in Sawyer Robertson off the bench, lost that spirited quarterback competition, but he was able to get in on the act, finding KRON Jackson from 30 yards out to cap off the score.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everybody said KRON all last year when he transferred.
KRON.
And when he says that, we say, all right, you're KRON then. That's great. Here's a throw to KRON. He's got it, and he's got a touchdown. However you call my name, just call my number. Into the end zone, a 30-yard touchdown reception from Sawyer Robertson to KRON Jackson.
That made it 44-3. The extra point made it 45-3, and that would be the final score. Interestingly enough, that was a little bit of a topic of conversation. We all called him by the wrong name last year. Everyone called him KRON, and sometime in the offseason, he let people know, by the way, it actually is KRON. He didn't really care last year, but we want to get it right. So KRON, hopefully we see him a little more in the action over the course of the year. And, you know, Bryce, tonight wasn't a night where you were just going to try to throw the ball all over the field for 4 quarters, right? So I don't know what to take away from the fact that we really didn't see a lot of Monterey ball when I would expect we will. And he's a guy that you're probably going to want to try to catch some teams off guard with his speed and do some things to get him open, so you probably don't want to show that. In fact, KRON, I think KRON had a drop, but he also had some catches. We saw some miscommunication with Josh Cameron and Dequan Finn when he was wide open in the end zone. I think there's some things that you can certainly feel good about. Ashton Hawkins, Trigg getting the touchdowns. You've got more weapons out there. But you can also improve on what we saw today. There's work that they can do this week to make week 1 to week 2. I know it's a cliche, but that biggest week of improvement.
Yeah, games like this, I mean, an important thing too is you got to just be able to take care of the ball. So I think some of those throws in the red zone, the interception, you can't have those kind of throws. The throw going into double coverage is something that probably want to have back in a game that's probably closer. So just kind of working on those mistakes and those interceptions we had in the game. I think that's something he can learn from and he can move on from. And then going into Utah next week is something that hopefully we just control the ball and not create these turnovers.
Few final numbers again in this game. Baylor outgains Tarleton 442 to 181 penalties. Tarleton 7 for 71. Baylor is 6 for 68. Baylor was able to keep drives going. They were 10 of 15 on 3rd down, 1 of 2 on 4th down, and they were able to get Tarleton off the field. The Texans just 2 of 14 on third down opportunities. Richard Reese, the leading rusher for the Bears, 18 carries for 78 yards. Pendergrass, 17 for 62 and a touchdown. Receiving-wise, KRON Jackson, 2 catches, 69 yards. And that touchdown we just heard, Ashton Hawkins, 2 catches for 37 yards. Baldwin, 2 for 36. I mean, they weren't trying to really feed anyone. They were trying to get guys opportunities, and the numbers show that this evening. It all adds up to a 45-3 Baylor victory, and the Bears will try to improve to 2-0 next week against Utah. If you want to join in the conversation, you can tweet us using the hashtag BUFanForum, or you can comment on the YouTube page, on the Baylor Athletics YouTube page. So, Bryce, I think as we were talking, obviously there's things you could improve on. A solid first week. If you want to find things to nitpick, you certainly can. But let's look at what some other teams in this opening week did. Honestly, it was a good start for the Big 12, I thought, Thursday and Friday. You had yesterday TCU knocking off Stanford on Thursday night. Colorado got a win against an always tough North Dakota State team. But today, West Virginia lost at home to obviously a very good Penn State team, the number 8th ranked Nittany Lions, 34-12. But you look at what some other teams are doing. Houston lost to UNLV 27-7. And the final now in Lubbock, Texas Tech holds on barely. 52-51, they defeat Abilene Christian in that one. And I would imagine on their equivalent of this show in Lubbock, there are a lot of nervous people right now. So I think you feel good about the fact that the Bears took care of business, because all across the country there's examples of teams that either didn't or had to sweat it.
That's why you love college football. Every week's a new week. Every team's a new team. And so you got to show up every week, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to be ready to play, ready to execute, ready to tackle, ready to catch the ball. And so it's a testament of certain these teams in the Big 12. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be really cool to see who ends out on top.
See a couple people commenting on the Baylor Athletics YouTube page. Patrick says Baylor has some more. He's actually talking about what we're talking about, right? He said Baylor has some work to do, but perhaps less than Texas Tech. That certainly feels true after one game. And he said this Tech game making him appreciate Baylor game a lot more. That's not a bad place to be, right? I mean, I think is it true that as coaches, I mean, you're never going to play a perfect game. Is it true as coaches you want some things you can kind of go back on film even after a big win? Say, hey guys, we got to clean this up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to play a perfect game. There's always going to be there's always going to be something that a coach can find and tell you, you did this, you did that. Let's work on this. Let's work on that. And so having games like this where you can really sit back, let some guys play, let guys settle in, get a home field feeling. And so I think a win is a win, definitely, but at the end of the day, you're going to always find ways to improve and get better. And so you really don't want to have a perfect game, because then you want to find ways to get better. And so I think coming out with a win in a crazy football, how crazy college football is, I really think a win every week is something to be proud of.
It is, and Baylor did that tonight, 45-3. And again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but last year at this time, we were singing a different tune after the loss to Texas Tech. In fact, Texas State, rather. I think Baylor's actually matched their home win total from last year and off to a much better start. We're brought to you on the Postgame Fan Forum by Rudy's. Rudy's is a proud sponsor of Baylor football. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Bryce Hager and Dereck Smith here with you on the Postgame Fan Forum. A little bit later on, we'll have Coffee is for Closers. And coming up next, we're going to hear from Dawson Pendergrass. Baylor's our running back today, punched in a touchdown, saw a lot of action along with Richard Reese as the rushing offense was effective today. Back with more from McLean Stadium after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
When life gets complicated.
All right, I finally got it. I mean, I got it, but it was an MP4, so I had to.
Oh, shoot.
Well, I got it. I just had to open it in Real Player.
Okay.
Because it won't open in Edition, but it's ready.
Good,
personal.
we'll call back quick.
Okay.
disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues. We are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today, 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the Waxahachie office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie. Come see the difference having a trusted attorney by your side can make, because at Butts Law Firm, your legal rights are our business.
Life moves fast. Your internet should move even faster. Connect, game, study, and do it all with Astound's hypersonic award-winning fiber-powered internet. It's a big deal. Call 1-800-4ASTOUND or go to astound.com to get internet for only $20 a month with a 2-year price lock. Plus, get a $100 Amazon gift card and add 5G unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Because reliable internet and better mobile is a big deal. Go to astound.com today. Restrictions apply. See astound.com for details.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Baylor 45, Tarleton State 3. The Bears are 1-0 on the 2024 season after a dominant win today over the Texans. First time these two teams have ever met. Tarleton not too far from here, just about a 90-minute drive up Highway 6. We play them in baseball. Going to play them in men's basketball. They're trying to assert themselves in D1, and they've actually had a winning record since doing so in football.
Dawson started the season.
Baylor got the win over them today, 45-3. You know, Baylor didn't show a whole lot in the playbook today, as you would expect. They ran a lot of simple run plays and were effective, about 4 yards per pop, 43 carries, 164 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns was delivered by Dawson Pendergrass. He finished with 17 carries for 62 yards, and he visited with Ricky Thompson after the game.
Dawson started this.
All right, 2:45.
You got a big win tonight, 45-3. A game you knew you needed to win, but y'all took care of business.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a great starting point. You know, we've been working really hard all summer, fall camp, spring ball, during everything, and I feel like we didn't come in expecting to win. We came in and we just made it happen.
Well, I guess too, it felt good after camp. It always feels good to go play somebody else. I know that had to feel good and get under the lights.
Yes, sir. It did feel good, man. It's always fun to go compete against other teams.
Well, this sets up a game against a conference opponent, not a conference game, though, at Utah, Salt Lake City, a team that's picked to win the Big 12.
I mean, that's just all analytics and numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna have to we're gonna have to play them. They're gonna have to play us, and just whoever who's a more physical team, whoever wins up front, whoever wants it more is going to be the team that wins.
Are y'all getting comfortable with this new offense? Spavs got this thing rolling. Is it a comfort level now? I know obviously you don't have everything in or all the packages, or not using those yet, but is there a comfort level there?
Oh, yes, sir. You know, it's kind of like you kind of help off each other's success. So the receivers have success, it's going to open up the run game. The run game has success, then it's going to open up the passing game. And we kind of just work off each other, so it's kind of like a little team thing.
Well, speed everywhere. It's just hard to cover it all. You've got 4 or 5 receivers out there that can really fly, running backs that can run, a quarterback that can run. Just when this offense rolls, it's going to be hard to stop everybody involved.
Yeah, it is going to be really hard. I just feel like in the end of the day, we're all going to have to do our 1/11th. Everybody win their one-on-one. Everybody do the one job they need to do. And I feel like if we do that, we're going to be hard to stop. Might be unstoppable.
If just a summary of tonight, what would you say the 1 or 2 things that y'all need to work on offensively in the next week?
I feel like we got complacent a little bit when we went up in the first quarter. I feel like we should have stuck our foot on their throats and just kept on going. I feel like that happened a little bit, but, I mean, other than that, I mean, our defense did really good. They didn't let up no touchdowns. They had, like, 1 field goal. That's very good. I mean, like, just some little MAs we can, like, little tweaks we need to, like, get worked out. But it's like a first game, so, you know, some of that stuff's always going to happen.
Well, good result.
10 seconds, Dereck.
45-3. Go on the road next week. You guys have a good week of practice. Congratulations on this one tonight.
Thank you.
That's Dawson Pendergrass visiting with Ricky Thompson on the Postgame Fan Forum. Baylor 45-3 winners tonight over Tarleton. And, you know, Bryce, he talked about comfort level. I want to get your thoughts on 2 things he talked about. One, at comfort level. He was a true freshman last year who saw a lot of playing time and was effective. But now he's got a better sense of what he's up against. I think Caden Jenkins, you know, on the defensive side. You had Carl Williams on the defensive side, a safety. You've got guys on the offensive line who hadn't played a whole lot the last couple of years, but who saw a lot of action last season and now get to go in, I don't know, maybe feeling a little more established as a college player. How big can that improvement be from your first year with a taste of action to that year where you think going in from the day one, I've got a role to play?
Yeah, I mean, experience is everything. You come in as a freshman and you get a lot of practice reps, and you can't really replace what game reps are like. So the guys that played early last year and then are coming in with a more established role this year, is you're going to see that experience shine through. I mean, even when you got these games where you can put some of these younger guys in or these backups in towards the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, that experience rolls over into the following season and later in the season or the following year. So, I mean, whenever you can get that experience and get those guys more comfortable and get them in a place where they feel like they are part of the team, part of what makes this offense go or what makes the defense go, anytime you can get them on the field, it's beneficial.
He also talked about, you know, playing complementary football. And I know this is such a simple thing to say, but that's not something that happened as much last season. In fact, looking at the opening game against Texas State, you look at some of those early drives. Baylor gives up a touchdown, and then the offense can't have their back, right? They have to punt the football. Then the defense bounces back and forces Texas Tech to a fumble deep inside Baylor territory, but the offense has to settle for a field goal. They can't move the ball, and then the defense goes back out there and gives up a touchdown. You just didn't have that one side feeding off the other, and it's just one game. But, and again, I know this is a Tarleton State team that was playing without their starting quarterback, and this is a game Baylor should win. But it just felt like tonight you saw, you know, not a whole lot of messing around. The defense feeding off of what the offense did. Of course, the defense scored a turnover, and that's what they're going to have to do a lot more of, certainly next week.
Well, yeah, definitely makes the game go a lot smoother when both sides of the ball or all 3 phases are doing what they're supposed to be doing. If your offensive side of the ball is controlling the ball, managing the clock well, not going 3 and out within 20 seconds, defense being able to get off the field when they need to get off the field, keep them out of the red zone, and that's the best. That's a place where you can find a lot of problems is if you got your offense going out 3 and out too fast, or you got your defense who's obviously letting a lot of points out get on the board. And so we saw a lot of offense holding time of possession was well with the offense. Defense did what they needed to do. Special team wasn't really a factor in this game. Both sides handled what they needed to handle. So I think they did a good job on all 3 phases tonight.
Are you a baseball fan, Bryce?
You know, I'm not really a baseball fan.
Not really a big baseball fan.
No.
Okay. But you do know, to make a baseball analogy here, you kind of want those guys on the team. You know, that pitcher who, when his starting pitcher, he's warming up in the bullpen, his starting pitcher has allowed runners on second and third and 1 out. He's like, give me the ball. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to shut this rally down. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get him off the hook. You want guys like that. Or you want the pitcher who comes in when the offense is, just scored 3 runs in the inning and comes down and puts a 0 up on the board. That's what we didn't have a lot of last year. That's what you hope that this group can put together this year, and we saw a little bit of it tonight in a 45-3 victory. Alongside Bryce Hager making his Fan Forum debut, I'm Dereck Smith. We've got Aaron Sexton back in our studios at ESPN Central Texas. The Bears are 1-0 after the win tonight, and it's time for the season's inaugural edition of Coffee is for Closers when we return after this to McLean Stadium. Before we do, we want to let you know we've got another Baylor Coaches Show coming up on Wednesday night. It's presented by Central National Bank. It's live at Rudy's. Join the voice of the Bears, John Morris, in a lineup of Baylor coaches at Rudy's Barbecue every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. for the chance to hear all the inside scoop on all our Baylor athletics programs this season. Back with Coffee is for Closers after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Premier ER and Urgent Care.
I'll be right back, Derek.
Urgent Care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy
Okay, so same thing, just start the music after the rejoin Beth.
and work experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to selected.
And then that last break, we can do it however you want it. We can end going into it, or we can take it, come back, and end with just the close, whatever you want to do.
Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
It's time for Coffee is for Closers. The car, the steak knives, the Doghouse. Tweet your winners with hashtag #BUFanForum or comment on YouTube or Facebook Live.
Back here at McLean Stadium, following a 45-3 Baylor victory tonight over Tarleton State. Alongside Bryce Hager, I'm Dereck Smith. Got a few questions we're going to get to from Girl Friday and Brian a little bit later on, but it is time for the inaugural edition of Coffee is for Closers for the 2024 season. And for those of you who are just joining us or tuned in with us throughout the evening, first off, Bryce, welcome to the Fan Forum. I'll say this again. It's great to have you on the program. We've had you on some of our the Tailgate show before, and you always did a great job. And we're excited to work with you even more closely here in this format and get your thoughts throughout the year now.
All right, man. I'm excited to be here, excited to do this. And anytime I have an excuse to come back to Waco and watch some football, I'm all for it.
Well, as we say that, we do. You've been in this situation, Bryce. You're excited to play alongside a new teammate, but you miss an old one. And that's Elliot Coffey, who was part of this show from 2016 to 2023. I wish we could give him a real Cadillac El Dorado, but the honorary Cadillac El Dorado forever and always will go to Elliot Coffey and to Dave Shook, both big parts of this show for so many years. So, Bryce, in the best way, you got some big shoes to fill. Elliot's done a great job, and now we're excited to have you on. You played with him. You were the young guy, and he was the old guy.
Yeah, he actually was a great mentor and a veteran guy for me when I got into Waco. My freshman year, he was a senior guy who kind of took me under his wing and knew ball very well and never hesitated to answer any of my young guy stupid questions. And so I always thanked him for that and always admired what he did after playing, coming back to Waco and being part of all these shows.
I think there's some pride that, like units have here at Baylor. Elliot Coffey did a great job playing linebacker. You had guys like you and Eddie Lackey, Taylor Young a little bit later. I feel like that there's a pride in that lineage, isn't there, at Baylor, in some of these position units.
Yeah, I mean, that always falls on the older guys and make sure, like, when newer guys come in, be that helping hand for them, because you know what it takes to get to where you are, and that's where they want to be usually when those young guys come in. And so I never understood of those veteran guys who kind of turn away from helping younger guys. And so I think the day I walked in, Elliott was one of those guys who kind of just, whatever you need, let me hear it, I'll help you out. And that kind of try to emulate that when my career here at Baylor, and then on in the NFL, I try to emulate what he did.
Well, Elliott, we're going to miss you. We're excited to work with Bryce. You'll have to give Bryce a text and give him some coaching, some pointers, just like you did back there in 2010 with the Baylor football team. So the honorary El Dorado forever goes to Elliott and to Dave Shook. But now we are awarding them tonight to the players in today's game. Again, for those of y'all who haven't heard this before, it's from the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, in which there is a sales competition in the movie. The first place winner gets a Cadillac El Dorado. Second place winner, a set of steak knives. Third place winners and beyond get fired. We're not quite doing it like that, but we are going to look up for an area, the Doghouse, we'll call it, an area to improve on for next week, which is what the Bears are going to want to do against Big 12 favorite number 12 Utah. So, Bryce, we're going to start off with the El Dorado, if you will, the winner, in the best player in tonight's game. And I'll start out here, Dequan Finn. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit of both sides of the coin with him tonight, but he set the tone early with that 39-yard touchdown run. He turned on the Jets, showed off his speed, finished with 3 touchdowns tonight, 2 through the air, and 1 on the ground, 14 for 22, 192 yards, and a little bit of excitement, too. You mentioned you were down there on the sideline for tonight's game, and you just saw the way his teammates reacted to him.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job tonight. I mean, coming in, being announced as a starting quarterback a couple weeks ago, I think taking that on, earning the respect of his teammates, being the quarterback is a huge responsibility, and he did a great job tonight controlling his team, leading his team, not just with his feet, with his arm, with his communication, with his leadership. You can see when he scores with those touchdown passes or completion, his team around him is excited for what he's doing. And so I'm excited to see how this season plays out for him. But tonight I was impressed. There's some things I'm sure he wants back. 2 of those interceptions he had. You can't have those in the red zone, and the last one was probably just a ball he shouldn't have thrown.
How about you for the top award tonight, the El Dorado? I'm gonna
go with Finn. I mean, I love what he did out there. Like I said, he brought energy. He brought a good job of leading the team. That's a big responsibility. The shoes he's in.
So we both agreed, Dequan Finn, the Cadillac El Dorado winner tonight. We used to say it was honorary, and it really is. But in the NIL era, we could actually do some of this stuff. Yeah, definitely could. So now for the steak knives, and I'll let you go first. I think we got to go defense here.
Defense. I'm gonna go with the new guy, Keaton Thomas. I mean, coming in, new system, new city, being able to become a starter the day he steps on the campus. Really was impressed with what he did tonight, having a pick 6, setting the tone for the defense, being that leader by making plays, getting his guys excited. I'm really excited for the season he's going to have, and the way he can help control the middle with the other linebackers. I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
I probably should give it to him, but just to be different and to give a veteran a shout-out, I'll go Matt Jones on the steak knives. He was tied for the team lead in tackles with 7. He had a tackle for loss. He was in the backfield. You know well the pressure that's on the veteran linebacker in the middle of the field, and especially when the head coach becomes your position coach and is calling defensive plays, he's really going to be a focal point. I thought tonight was a good start.
He did a good job. He did a good job leading.
All right, now for the Doghouse. What's an area we can improve? And I haven't usually done this over the years, but my Doghouse and my El Dorado, are 2 sides of the same coin for one player, because Dequan Finn really had a strong start to his Baylor career, but you mentioned a couple of those interceptions. There were a couple other passes that were a little iffy that maybe shouldn't have been thrown, and that's something he's going to have to clean up because, Tarleton State's 45-3. You can get away with it. Boy, next week at Utah, you may not be. So I think cleaning that up a little bit, the communication. There's time Josh Cameron was wide open in the end zone. They couldn't connect. One of the interceptions looked like a miscommunication when I think Monterey Baldwin cut a route off. He cut a route towards the sideline, and Finn threw it towards the number. So those are things they can clean up and are need to if you're going to get a big upset win on the road.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, for me, I would say complacency. You can't get complacent, especially in this league. You got to start the first quarter 21-0. I think they could have kept their foot on the gas and kind of really separated themselves throughout the game. And like you said from the beginning of the show, that into the second quarter, into the third quarter, kind of was that window of, okay, where are our guys? Doesn't seem like they kind of lost their mojo, kind of their hype, their excitement, and they kind of found it back towards the end of the game. But moments like that against really good teams, you got to be careful because that is when games can turn really fast. You got to be able to be play in, play out, going into halftime, being able to come out of halftime with that same energy you started the game with.
Well, I like that Dawson Pendergrass. I like that he mentioned that in the post-game interview with Ricky Thompson. Hopefully, that's something that they can build on as we head into next week's game against the Utah Utes. A couple of questions people have sent in. Brian asked, what are your biggest bright spots on the team, your biggest concerns? He mentioned he's still concerned about both lines as well as Finn's arm strength. I think we talked about it a little bit. We want to see that decision-making improve, and perhaps with that we'll see a little bit stronger throws with him. Both lines, I think the offensive line was okay tonight. I don't know that I came away super excited or super worried either. I mean, next week they're going to have a real challenge, right? They're going to play Utah, and I think we're going to learn a whole lot more about them then, and then a very physically tough opponent in the U.S. Air Force in a couple weeks. We'll find out more about them next couple weeks. I was pleased to see Jackie Marshall active. We saw him in the backfield some. Maybe not as much as you would like, just 2 sacks tonight, but what were your general takeaways on the defensive line?
Yeah, for the defensive line, I think they kind of they held their end game pretty well. They were active in the past game. Like you said, I'd want to see a little bit more TFLs and a couple more sacks, maybe see if those guys can get their hands on the ball. If they get to the quarterback, try to cause some turnovers. You like to see those guys get active early. On the offense side of the ball, I don't think we showed that much, just on the schematics, the scheme, our play calls. And so for me, it was kind of hard to digest how our offensive line was going to look moving forward. They got it done tonight, and so I think tonight they did well. But moving forward, I needed to see a little bit more from our offense to really get a deep dive on that.
And we're going to see more of that next week. In fact, Girl Friday, you answered her question. She said, do you think Jake Spavital was holding back different plays, offensive schemes tonight in anticipation of the Utah game? I would definitely say yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely holding back.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more that we'll see next week. Not just the Utah game, but beyond. One thing I think everyone wanted to see, just offensively, was a little more excitement. I know that can be a bit of an ambiguous thing, right? I mean, if you win, that's exciting. Of course, last year the team only won 3 games. Well, tonight they not only won, but you look at big plays. You think of big plays when you think of the spread offense, and Baylor had 11 of them tonight. Those are passing plays of 15 yards or more, or run plays of 9 yards or more. Baylor had 11 and held Tarleton to just 2, and you can see there's more weapons out there. There's a defensive scheme. I think we're going to see some up and down with the team as they install this offense even more. But did you come away encouraged by some of the pieces they have that combination of pieces and scheme?
Yeah, I mean, when you implement the spread offense, you're expecting big explosive plays to happen every series, and that's not the case. If you can have them sprinkled throughout the game, that's a win. As long as you can control the ball, not have turnovers, and have those explosive plays when they're needed, I think that's something to build off of. And on the flip side, with defense, you got to eliminate those big plays. You got to eliminate those explosive plays. And so I think them just having 2 of those tonight is a good start. You would like to have 0, but 2 tonight got the job done. You got to look forward to next week. Team in Utah, they're going to be ready. They're going to have They're going to create opportunities to have those explosive plays. And so I think Aranda's got work cut out for him next week. So I'm excited to see kind of the scheme the game plan he draws up for his defensive guys to make sure those explosive plays don't happen.
Well, we will take our last timeout, heading into our last segment, I should say, coming up as we preview Baylor and Utah. The Bears going up against a top 20 defense from last year and a veteran quarterback. We'll get you ready for that when we come back after this. 45-3 the final. The Bears defeat Tarleton State tonight to improve to 1-0 on the young season, and we'll look at what's next after this here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
The Toyota Tundra's powerful, available iForce V6 engine means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To your neighbor, it's helping them with their new chainsaw carving.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I think it sounds better like that.
To your co-pilot.
Okay, and sorry about the highlights.
That's all right.
I even told him, make sure you skip the field goals. And he's like, I got it. And then he got a little flustered.
Toyota.com today.
I appreciate it.
Let's go places. See packages and options at Toyota.com for feature availability.
Life moves fast. Your internet should move even faster. Connect, game, study, and do it all with Astound's hypersonic award-winning fiber-powered internet. It's a big deal. Call 1-800-4ASTOUND or go to astound.com to get internet for only $20 a month with a 2-year price lock. Plus, get a $100 Amazon gift card and add 5G unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Because reliable internet and better mobile is a big deal. Go to astound.com today. Restrictions apply. See astound.com for details.
It's Dodge Power Shot Days at Allen Samuels, where the thrill of the drive meets unbeatable savings. Conquer the road in a 2023 Dodge Durango RT with a jaw-dropping $12,500 off. Get unmatched performance with the Dodge Durango RT. Dodge is the most powerful muscle car brand, so unleash the power of the 2023 Dodge Charger RT or Dodge Challenger RT with a remarkable $11,000 off. That's right, your choice, $11,000 off during Dodge Power Shot Days at Allen Samuels Dodge.
Come by. Let's be friends.
You're listening to Baylor Football. Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Final segment of the season premiere of the Baylor Football Postgame Fan Forum. Alongside Bryce Hager, I'm Dereck Smith. Appreciate Aaron Sexton, all his fine work back at our studios at ESPN Central Texas. People don't know how long of a day that Aaron and the crew put in. We jumped on the air at 4 o'clock today, and he was there well before that and still going strong. So, Aaron, thanks for all you do. Well, let's take a look at what's up next for the Bears. And what is up next is a date with the Utah Utes. And, you know, we know, Bryce, that we're in a era of change in college football. NIL, the transfer portal. We're going to be hearing more about things like revenue sharing and all that. But obviously, the big thing that stands out has been realignment. There's no more Pac-12. The Power 5 is the Power 4. And you think Baylor scheduled this series against Utah about 5 or 6 years ago. Utah was a non-conference rival. Well, now they're in the conference, and so we're seeing one of the strangest things that I think you can see on the schedule, and that is a non-conference football game against a conference opponent. So if you think about it, Baylor's playing 10 of their 12 games this year against Big 12 teams, which is kind of crazy, and it's going to be a really, really good test for the Bears. Utah, the number 12 team in the nation. They bring back a defense that was in the top 20 nationally from last year. A strong offensive line. Cam Rising, their sixth-year quarterback, who was injured in the game here in Waco. He's going to be starting there 1-0 after a Week 0 victory over Utah Tech. And, you know, it's going to be tough next week. It'd be an upset if Baylor wins. They have a bruising offensive line, a defensive line, a great environment. And, again, to state the obvious, Baylor's going to have to pick up their play if they want to come back here with a win. But it's going to be a really good measuring stick to see what you can do in a hostile environment against a team that has a good chance to be the automatic that's picked to be Baylor's, the Big 12's rather, automatic qualifier to the college football playoff.
Yeah, no, I think our offense staff's got a good challenge ahead. He's got to be able to create running plays to open up his offense. You can run the ball. If you can run the ball well, that opens up your playbook. Then you can get to your passes. Then you got people. Then you don't know if they should play the run, they play the pass. And so I think if we can establish a good run game early, that's going to be critical in the next week's game. And on the defensive side of the ball, you got to just control what you control. There's going to be plays where there's going to probably be explosive plays. There's probably going to be times where something doesn't go your way, but that's where you got to fall back on your leaders. You guys, those guys in the middle that you can't be swayed when things don't go your way. So that's going to be a huge testament to our defense to see if they can play well, stay move on from each play, good or bad, move on to the next. And going in, like you said, into a hostile environment, this is going to be a chance to see first away game, see how our guys react, going on the road, going to a place that's going to be rocking, it's going to be loud, and it's going to be fun. So you're going to be able to see a lot next week. So I'm excited for that.
Excited for that. I think third downs are going to be big on both sides of the ball. You've got to extend drives. You can't give the ball back to Utah on their own field. You got to extend drives and get obvious. But if you have a chance to get them off the field, you've got to get them off the field. And that's going to be a fun challenge, I think, a tough challenge, because Utah's really built to end drives with that top 20 defense and with that bruising offensive line they've got to extend drives. And I think success next week, obviously to win would be the biggest mark of success. I think there'll be other marks of success along the way that could give you encouragement short of a win. But boy, you'd love to see that big early win and give this new era of the Bears with Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator, Coach Aranda calling plays defensively, Daquan Finn out there, quarterback. You would love to see them get that big early skin on the wall.
Yeah, if you can get a win against a Big 12 opponent in a non-conference way and away game, those are some big boxes to check. They'll propel you into the Big 12 play with a lot of confidence. So like you said, if our offense can establish the run game, run well to open up the passing game, get Finn comfortable back there where he can start throwing the ball and let his receivers hunt the ball down and make some big plays. And on the defensive side, being able to stop their run, control, get 3 and outs, get them off the field, get the ball back in our offensive hand. I think if we can do that and win the field position in special teams, that's always a spot of ball possession and field position that people kind of overlook. If your special teams, if you can pin them on punt, if you can make some big plays on kickoff or get a kickoff return, especially on an away game, that usually is the deciding factor. If you can score on teams, it's usually good for that team that scores.
Yeah, you might have to steal a touchdown somewhere, right, to win that game for sure. And maybe this is a minor thing, but it'd be kind of fun just to show Utah, the team that's picked to win the league in their first year. It's not going to be quite so easy. We'll see if they're able to do that. But that is coming up next Saturday, nationally televised game on Fox. Baylor against number 12 Utah. It'll be a 2:30 kick. We'll be on the air with the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show at 2:30, and then you can join Bryce and me after the game for the Postgame Fan Forum, hopefully talking about a win. Well, Bryce, good stuff. Broke in with a win tonight, and looking forward to working with you further on the program, and hopefully this team can build on the success tonight.
I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. We're 1-0. It's hopefully we go 1-0 next week as well.
Well, if you when you come back, if you're on the sideline, you can give us more of those sideline reports too. We'll find out what the vibe is like as the team hopefully racks up more wins.
Absolutely, love to jump into more insight about that as well.
Next week, Baylor and Utah. Hope you will join us. Well, for now, that's going to wrap things up here from McLean Stadium. A successful opening day for the Bears. Want to say thanks to Aaron Sexton, our producer at ESPN Central Texas, and our engineer here at McLean Stadium, Bob Baker. Speaking for them and Bryce Hager, I'm Dereck Smith. Again, the final tonight, Baylor 45, Tarleton 3. Thanks for joining us on the Postgame Fan Forum. Good night, everyone.
This
all right, great call, guys.
Of Baylor football on the
Thanks, Derek. I'll holler at you.
All right, sounds good.
Later. Sick 'em Bears.
Has been brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Baylor Scott and White Health, the official hospital and healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. H-E-B, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics. Proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your bank for life. The official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now. Nissan, innovation that excites. This broadcast has been an exclusive presentation of the Baylor Sports Media Network. For information about this broadcast, please contact Baylor Sports Properties. Coverage of 2024 Baylor football is authorized by Baylor Sports Media Network and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, internet streaming, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the written consent of Baylor Sports Properties or the university is prohibited. The Baylor Sports Media Network is a division of Baylor Sports Properties and Playfly Sports.
From the Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Temple, ESPN Central Texas.